What's up, guys? Back at my dad's house, and we're going to be hanging out here just in a little bit, but my dad wanted to give you guys a little bit of a tour of his couple of his collections, his whiskey and his cigar collection, so we're going to go do.
What's up, guys? Welcome to what we call the drop zone. This is where we keep all of our booze, and so all the hard liquor is on top, and then we're also prepared for other occasions. We've got a couple hundred bottles of really nice and various reds, from Real Bull cabs to Pinots to you name it. So some of your favorite brands, some you may never heard of, but most of the time everybody wants to drink from the cocktail area, and so I'm kind of well known for my preference for whiskey. So I don't have as much as, I've got friends and relatives that have as many as 75, 80 bottles in their collection. I try and keep, the staples. What I've got here is, Four Roses, which is always a go-to. Kyle was kind enough to give me some Elijah Craig as a gift. 1792 has gained a lot of popularity lately. Then I'm a sucker for Crown Royal. A lot of people may not like that, but this is their Blender's Mash, which you ought to give a try. It's really outstanding. If you like, a corn whiskey, a Canadian whiskey, it's delicious. And then this is Basil Hayden. I put this in my special decanter that my other son gave me. This is Basil Hayden's, and it's actually aged in maple barrels. I can't remember exactly, but it's fantastic. It's got a nice caramely finish. And then there's always a standard bottle of Crown Royal, and Mr. Jack Daniels back there in the back, and then Bullet Bourbon and Woodford Reserve. So, and then I do keep a couple of scotches on reserve for people with the taste for scotch. So there's always a bottle of Balvenie and some Macallans back there. And then for all you novices who like a little candy flavor, I've got the peanut butter cup whiskey.
That's good stuff, despite what some people think.
Yeah, the flavored whiskeys are becoming more and more popular. So there's the ever popular Fireball, cinnamon whiskey. So everybody's got their take on that.
Partial to Screwball.
Yep. And so even Jack Daniels has come out with their own cinnamon whiskey, which some people think is sacrilegious, but nonetheless, you got to give the public what they want. Right? So
is he rolling over in his grave, you think?
I don't know, and probably doesn't matter.
So shall we check out your cigar collection, Pop?
Yeah, let's go.
So we're upstairs, and kind of the what would you call this area? Just a loft area, Pop?
Yeah, this is a loft or great room, and so I've kind of turned this into my indoor man space, sort of a tribute to my family heritage. And so we've got, references to my Polish family all from Chicago. So you've got some Chicago art going on there. The other side of my family is, from the UK. So my latest acquisition is our wanker sign over there. And then I've got a Leroy Neiman on the wall. I love his artwork, and that is actually called Whiskey Bar.
Nice.
So it kind of ties into, one of my favorite things. So you're going to see various items here from our Polish heritage, our UK heritage, and then we've got the cigar area here. So.
Aha! So we got a couple of humidors here. This one is kind of like, wouldn't you say these are like the more rare cigars, or cigars that are kind of a little more novelty? Actually,
this is my humidor for showing.
Ah, okay.
Most everything that goes in here, that's where cigars go to die. If I've got something that, it just can't hold a lot of moisture, it just doesn't seem to be benefiting from being in the humidor, it's something I don't want to smoke because it's something someone gave me, and it's, a really cheap cigar that, honestly. So this is the final resting place. This is a nice humidor. It was my first real humidor. I had my initials carved on it.
Very nice.
It locks. It's got the old electronic hygrometer on there that doesn't really work anymore, but it's a nice looking box and it fits on the shelf. And so, I graduated to this right here where you've got the temperature controlled model.
Yep.
I had one of these before, a little bit smaller, which I gave to
you gave to me.
There.
Yeah, it says sitting in my house and working beautifully still, and all that good stuff. So yeah.
So this one's by a manufacturer called Winter, and so it has its own temperature control fan device, but I tend to, go a little bit more basic than that. I've got the electronic hygrometer in there,
which is what I got too.
From Cigar Oasis, keeps it at a perfect 72% or so humidity. Right now it's a little high because I just put water in it. So, and I've got an extra dish in there, so it's closer to 78, 79%. And then it came with the good old-fashioned, old-school
hygrometer.
Nice. I noticed that one's not
Not reading as well?
Not reading as well.
I've noticed that the traditional, why don't you show a little bit of what you got in your humidor, Pop, to show a little bit of your collection.
So, there's the old phrase, top drawer being the best. And
oh, yeah.
so anything I've got in my bottom drawer, that's going to be an amalgamation of stuff that I know, folks that come over, so, don't laugh, but I've got some of the flavored
Oh, I still smoke
cigarillos.
Optimos?
Some hand rolls that a friend of mine gave me from a shop in Kansas City. Some of my Hawaiian hand-rolled cigars that, I get to once in a while, and then, some of your more common, the Cohiba Red Dot, Macanudo, one of their entry-level cigars, some other, various flavored cigars, and so the bottom drawer is going to be for the guests who think they want to smoke a cigar and maybe wouldn't smoke a whole cigar, and I'd shed a tear if if I see half a cigar in a humidor.
Yep.
I can get pretty emotional. Sometimes it's not pretty.
No.
So then we've got the next drawer, and I tend to buy things in batches, so things I know I'm gonna like smoking, and so you graduate up here. I just recently got a whole box of 1502, the Black Golds, which are great smoke, not terribly expensive, and just really rich, robust, smooth. Not bitey, as my friend Earl Lancaster in Kansas City likes to say. And that's his saying for peppery.
Yeah.
And then, I just got boxes of Prensados, and so I opened one of the 5-packs, and so they're in here just kind of, mellowing out. But I always open one box, try those out. And some people say leave the wrappers on. Most people say take the wrappers off. I've tried it both ways, and I haven't really noticed any difference when I take those wrappers off.
I would say the same.
Because humid is humid at the end of the day.
Pretty much.
So then, now we're coming up to, we've got shelves in this humidor, which aren't my favorite thing. I prefer the drawers, and I guess I could order drawers or turn these into drawers. But again, so we're, getting to some things that I really like smoking. So I've got the Padron 2000s. I've recently started smoking, the Maduros in the smaller sizes because, I try not to spend too much time out there. And I'm experimenting with some things like, for instance, JR Cigars. They have their lines that they're trying to imitate some really highly crafted cigars. And so you've got the Edición Limitada. This is actually a version of the Monte Cristo limited edition. And then, you see some of my Monte Cristos, this is JR Cigars version of the Monte No. 2, which, those smoke pretty well. So if you're on a budget, you can get a box of 25 of those for about $90. I mean, it's a fantastic buy. And then this is their version of the Bejique at JR Cigars. And so I've smoked a few of those. Actually, I'm wrong. This is actually a copy of another Monte Cristo cigar, more of the Churchill size. But getting on to the next, then these are the Bejiques.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't say they smoke exactly like them. The wrappers certainly don't have the same consistency as a Cuban Bejique, but they're still a pretty solid smoke. So bang for the buck. But then I've got, my Our Father Jaime Garcia.
Yeah.
Up here, and then getting up a little higher. I've got something a little higher in the Cuevas line that I just recently acquired at a nice dinner that Kyle was kind enough to invite me to the other night. And then I've got my Alec Bradley Habano. So right now, you kind of caught me on a rotation where, for once, I don't have any Monte Cristos in here. I don't have any Cohibas in there, and because I've just tried to broaden my horizons and smoke more Dominican and Nicaraguan cigars, because used to be when you came here, all you found in my humidor were Cubans.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad thing.
No.
Not at all. So.
No. But not necessarily all your friends are going to appreciate a Cuban cigar. Like I said, I tell people, look, only smoke this if you're going to smoke it down to the nub. If you're not going to, then let me
Please
give you
don't.
something that it won't break my heart if it doesn't make it to the end of the stick. But
awesome.
So that's kind of my little collection. You can see here based on the boxes I have, some of the stuff.
Some Davidoff.
Yeah.
Father.
I've got
some lovely boxes.
My Bejique box over there. I got a full box of them from Cuba once upon a time. That was kind of an impulse purchase, but I enjoyed it every stick. Aging room, they're 2019 cigar of the year. I've enjoyed a lot of Our Father cigars, from the Judge to Le Bijou. I mean, there's just some fantastic cigars out there these days.
Absolutely.
And they don't necessarily have to be Cuban. So.
Absolutely. So why don't we go ahead and show everyone where you usually smoke? A couple different
Yeah, let's do
spots.
that. Let's go outside in the main area.
All right, everybody. We have stepped out onto the patio, which is really just the starting point or staging area, whatever you want to call it, because there's plenty to see. My dad's lovely backyard, which was just recently finished, so we're gonna get to see some pretty cool stuff here. So mostly, yeah. So we're gonna go check that out right now.
Hey guys, welcome to my outdoor space. This is kind of the starting point. You know, when the weather's cool, you need a little fireplace. We've got a nice little California room here, which is sort of the thing now. So it's really an outdoor room, and right behind Kyle, they've got, you know, the fold-away doors. So that whole wall disappears, and you can kind of just open the inside of the house to the outside of the house. So we've got some reclining chairs and some tables and lighters and what have you. So this is probably the main space that we hang out in, and then our recently added pool and spa, and you got the fire bowls going on in here. So right now it's sunset, so you can kind of enjoy the view. It's just a little past sunset, but the St. Gabriel's are always going to provide a great backdrop, especially right now, this time of year. You get a little haze, and you've got golden, purple, and orange sunsets going on, so it's really, really nice. So out here, you know, we kind of like sitting out here because the view is nice this time of night. You know, we've got the bar chairs open, so our bar will comfortably seat 10. We've got a brand new barbecue with an outdoor rated refrigerator. You know, I've got TV here in the corner as well as in the California room. We've got the smoker here, so you know, we plan on having some big parties. You know, once things open up again, we can have more than 10 people in one space. But other than the trees going in about a week or so, we're ready to rock and roll, and we're done. We're enjoying the backyard now that it's here. So it's, you know, it's definitely swimming weather in the Inland Empire. So guys, thanks for taking a walk through my house with me and seeing my man spaces, and I hope you enjoyed viewing everything. We'll put some stuff on later when we're more finished with the landscaping and a few more changes are made. But you know, welcome to my man space, and I hope you can make it over sometime. And thanks for hanging with us. And now let's get smoking.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we really hope you enjoyed that nice little tour of my dad's pad and the areas where he hangs out, keeps his smokes, keeps his drinks, and now we're out here on the bar,
the veranda,
El patio, yeah. So the weather is beautiful tonight. You guys, I think you guys saw a shot of that sunset, which is, it's still going, and it's beautiful. And
right.
Now we're obviously just here relaxing and enjoying and having a couple of Casa Cuevas cigars, our sponsor, from our casa to yours. And as always, they're delicious. Dad, what are you smoking?
Me gusta.
Which Casa Cuevas are you smoking, Pop?
So I am smoking a lovely Maduro Ground Reserve, I believe.
That's the actually that's the Coraline Maduro.
Thank you.
I am smoking the Reserva Maduro. So we're both going Maduro tonight. They're both delicious cigars. In fact, you just ordered a box of those bad boys, didn't you?
I did.
So yet to arrive,
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Kyle
but,
has converted me. Casa Cuevas was something I was ignorant of just a few short months ago, and he and one of his mates were smoking a lot of them, and you know, helping them build a brand out here on the West Coast and building some relationships. And
absolutely,
we went to that great cigar event I mentioned earlier last night at Citrus City Grill in Corona, which, by the way, if you haven't been there, the food is fantastic. They got a great executive chef. It's one of the better restaurants in the Inland Empire. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, and it was just such a great atmosphere, just out on the patio and stuff like that. And
perfect for smoking anytime you want to go.
Absolutely. And so got to hang out with some really great people, some people that my dad got to meet that are friends of mine, and obviously we had our friend Christine Smoky Affair, who is the Casa Cuevas rep here in California, and she was a fantastic hostess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And had a great time. So yeah, and it was an excuse to smoke some of the best cigars that I think that I've ever had in my life. So
I was impressed that there were so many ladies there. I got to tell you, I've been to a lot of cigar events, and usually the men outnumber the ladies 10-1. And last Saturday evening, it was probably more of a, maybe a 60-40 ratio, and the ladies were smoking, enjoying themselves, having cocktails, and there was a lot of good chatter, and a lot of people enjoyed a lot of good smokes, and various whiskeys. We had a lot of scotch, some great tequila there.
Oh, amazing tequila.
Yeah, Dame Mas tequila, shout out. That stuff was phenomenal.
I'm gonna leave a link in the description below so you guys can check them out and where you can find them. Fantastic tequila. I'm not much of a tequila drinker just because I haven't had a lot of opportunity to drink it. But every chance I get, I want to try something, and whether it's in a margarita or if it's straight. And that was just delicious. Really smooth, really great tequila.
They had a white tequila that was aged, I believe, 10 or 11 months. But then they also had an extra añejo that was aged, I believe it was 10 years.
Something like that, yeah.
It was fantastic, really smooth, a very sweet finish, great sipping tequila. The rep Mara was there, kind enough to show us the ropes. All their stuff came in hand-painted bottles. I got to tell you, that tequila paired really nicely with the Casa Cueva cigars. It's something you could sit around and sip on and really enjoy.
Yes, not a shooting tequila by any stretch.
Kind of a sin to mix it with anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You want to drink that straight up and enjoy it from a glass and just relax with that kind of drink, and just how tasty it was. You don't want to waste it on a shot or on a margarita, I don't think.
Please don't.
So, please do not. So, and tonight we're drinking some Manhattans my dad made.
Yep.
So they were kind of just chilling in the fridge for a bit until I got here. So thanks, Bob. They're absolutely delicious. What kind of bourbon's in it?
Yeah, so I paired this up with... this is what happens when you're almost 60 years old. You made them yourself, and you can't remember the bourbon you used. Sorry, it was a great bottle of Four Roses, along with some sweet red vermouth, and just a touch of cherry juice, and finish them off with Luxardo cherries. The only kind of cherry you want to serve.
Beautiful.
In any type of bourbon drink, in my opinion.
Cheers.
A little bit of the cherry juice. My wife is Andrea, God bless her. She's a longtime bartender back in her previous life before I met her, and even though she doesn't drink, she can tell by the aroma, she's got something good going on. So I handled the alcohol duty, and she finished it off with the little bit of the cherry juice and Luxardo cherries. And it's fantastic. You can tell by the color, and it pairs really well with most any cigar you want to smoke, whether it's a Connecticut or something even on the more robust side. Just something about bourbon or whiskey and a great cigar, to each their own. Like I said a minute ago, I'll even sip tequila with a great cigar because I love tequila, good tequila. But my go-to is usually whiskey of some kind, and it's most often bourbon or rye. There's just so many great bourbons out there to try. So you saw my bar a little while ago. I've usually got 12 or 15 things going on. And, my wife often makes the comment, "What are we going to do with all this whiskey?" And I said, "Well, Kyle, what do I say?
We're going to drink it."
Exactly.
So, what else would you do with it? It looks nice when you first walk into that area, and it's all nice and set up and organized. But yeah, you've got to drink it. That's why you buy it. You collect it for a while, but eventually it needs to be consumed. Much like cigars, because I have an ever-growing cigar collection, much like you. And yeah, it looks nice in the humidor when it's nice and full, but they're meant to be consumed. So you need to eventually get to them and enjoy them instead of just letting them sit and look impressive as it might be.
Yep, that humidor I've got, if I really fill it up, it can hold 400 cigars, but I got to tell you, it doesn't seem like 400 because... you go through the good ones in a hurry, and relatively speaking. Yeah. And when I'm on fire, I'm usually smoking a couple of cigars in an evening.
I see what you did there.
Exactly.
So kind of stepping back a little bit to my wonderful stepmom. Fun fact, that woman can reverse engineer a recipe, or whether it's food or drink, by aroma or taste. It's ridiculous. She could taste something that is store-bought and made by a bigger brand or something like that. She could figure out what the ingredients are just by taste, and she could make it herself probably even better.
Exactly.
So it's
true.
Pretty amazing. It's not a talent that everyone has, and it's never ceased to amaze me.
And this is no accident. She's half Italian, she's half Mexican, and the girl can cook like nobody's business.
Exactly.
And I've loved every minute of it. She's a wonderful woman, and one of the greatest wives of all time. And she's a phenomenal cook, phenomenal human being. And so, yeah, from engineering the drinks to making some food, it's never a bland evening around my house when it comes to cuisine.
No, absolutely not. We've enjoyed many a dinner, whether they be just regular every day get-togethers or holidays or something like that. it's never a dull moment in the kitchen.
Yep.
Absolutely not. So, yes, her input is always valued as far as cooking and culinary arts are concerned. So, but yeah, we're just out here hanging out, and I think this is going to be a regular thing because having you on the channel, I've got a huge response from when you were on the first time.
Well, in segueing there, I believe it's time for an Aussie update. Yes, indeed. It's footy season, as you all know. And right now, it's the start of the season, and with the shutdown and everything that's going on, my mates have been aching for some great Aussie football. Right now, Port Adelaide has a slim lead, and then it's a 5-way tie for second place. And there are no prizes for second place, eh? So, let's cheer on your favorite footy team. Let's drink some Fosters, or not.
And as a quick disclaimer, I'd like to issue a formal apology to Hugh Jackman, Paul Hogan, and my friend Craig, who lives down under. We're sorry that our accents are so terribly dodgy.
Right.
We know you all think it.
And not to mention the entire nation of Australia. Cheers, mate. She's right.
Couldn't help yourself, could you?
No, I can't. Love you guys. Hope
Absolutely.
everything's well. Glad there's no fires down there this year.
Oh,
so
thank
it's
God.
safe to smoke.
So,
And I can use the phrase, smoke on. Brothers of the Leaf, let's...
without offending anyone.
Right.
Yeah, so...
And it's our turn this year. We got some fires burning.
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, one of the tobacconists that actually carries Casa Cuevas over in Oak Glen Tobacconist had to close their doors for a bit
Yep.
because of what's going on over there. We got some family over close to that area. They can see the fires very clearly, and so yeah, it's hitting close to home. Definitely, we've had a number of fires. I think in the last 2-3 years that have hit pretty close to where we live. So whether in Corona where I live, out here in Riverside, and over near like the high desert and Yucaipa area, it's kind of crazy, and because of how hot it gets, it's kind of scary. So stay safe, everyone, and make sure you minimize your fire risk if you live in a dry area.
And kids, if you're watching, don't play with matches.
Yes,
Leave that to your dad.
we're using them
Or your mom.
responsibly, and we're not just lighting random things on fire. So
That would be correct. See, I've taught him well.
yes, absolutely. Even though there was times I probably tried to do stuff with matches and fire without you knowing, and thankfully
Well,
didn't burn my eyebrows off or burn
Let's
the
keep
house
it
down.
that way. Gotta leave a little mystery out there, folks.
Notice how ambiguous and vague I was. He has no idea.
He said might have, might not have.
I might have, had a lighter and a hairspray bottle and tried something that could have gone very bad, but thankfully didn't. But note that I said might have.
I'm sure I'll hear from him one day. I remember telling my mother on a July 4th accident that I said was a hot pan of bacon grease. It was me lighting fireworks that I was told not to go near, almost burned my hand off with second-degree burns, and I told her 20 years later, yeah, that was a fireworks-related accident, and she acted as if it happened 10 minutes ago. So, guys, don't tell your mom stuff later on. She still can't take it.
Oh, this is the advice that I wish I would have gotten when I was much younger, because I was painfully honest, and I just told the truth. Even
Kyle
when it
told
hurt.
on himself.
I told on myself
all the time.
I ratted myself out. I was
did.
not aware of my, Fifth Amendment rights.
Right.
Don't rat on yourself.
Even with coaching from your old dad saying, hey, if I don't ask you, you don't have to tell me.
I was just afraid he'd still find out, so I figured I might as well ask for forgiveness.
We usually do, right? I mean, everybody out there knows what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
You kept a secret you swear you'd go to the grave with, and your mom, your girlfriend, your wife, they always find out. Somebody blabs after a few drinks and says, hey, remember that trip to Vegas where we said we went here and instead we went there? It happens every time.
We're getting into some heavy territory here. I didn't think we'd go.
We go deep on Dad smoking cigars.
We do. So, speaking of Dad smoking cigars, and speaking of my dad, you guys might notice the shirt I'm wearing. Maybe you didn't, but Dad, why is this shirt significant?
It's red.
Yes.
And it says South Dakota on it. That's the land of my birth. Rapid City, South Dakota, home of Mount Rushmore, the Black Hills, also the Black Hills Gold.
Yeah, absolutely. I wore this shirt on purpose because I love this guy, and I get an interesting sense of pride of knowing you were born near such a historic landmark. I don't know why, but I do. It's very American.
They talked about putting my face on it, but only briefly.
I think they just talked about like spray painting it on like a rock somewhere
Yeah,
or
I think
something
they were
like that.
humoring me on a bad
Do
day.
like a little charcoal representation.
Something like
I
that.
think that's as far as the talks got.
Maybe it was an artist at Disney. Now that I think about it,
It's
but
like, here,
nonetheless, I remember the conversation as if it was yesterday.
Here, take this caricature and just go stick it on the side
Right.
of the mountain.
Something like that.
Feel better?
Indeed.
So, obviously, we keep it pretty loose here. So, no scripts. We don't need no stinking scripts.
We don't need no stinking scripts.
So, we have a good time here all the time. And we wanted to say thank you guys for... Well, I wanted to personally say, and I'm sure I speak for my dad when I say this, that thank you for the great response for the first time he hung out with me on the channel. It was definitely a video that everybody enjoyed, and a lot of people had a hard time believing that he's my dad as opposed to like a brother or a cousin or something like that.
Yes, it's true, America. It's true. I mean, look at us. You know, funny story since he brought it up. We're sitting in Hawaii by the pool on the lovely island of Maui, and a guy comes up and he says, "Hey, buddy." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Those are your kids, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, it's pretty obvious. If they ever ask for a paternity test, just throw up your hands and say, 'I surrender.'" And Kyle's been told all his life he looks just like me.
And what is your response?
Poor boy.
And usually my response is when people say, "You look just like your dad," I usually say, "Yep, I have never heard that before in my entire life."
True that.
And some people actually think I'm serious when I say that. And no, I've heard it my whole life. And you know what? I'm very proud of that fact that I have your face.
Yeah. Well, thank you, son.
It's a nice face.
Very nice.
I get complimented on it every now and then.
Well, just give me partial credit at least.
Oh, I
Your mother
do.
did some of the work.
Oh, I do.
She carried the weight for 9 months.
Well, not
8
even
months,
9
8
months. Not
Yeah,
even
Kyle,
9 months.
Kyle was so impatient he couldn't wait the full 9, so he came out.
I was technically born in when you're supposed to be a Taurus, but I have friends who suggested to me because of my personality that I'm actually a Gemini. So
he was a half-baked Gemini.
half-baked Gemini. There you go. So
He was on the cusp. Sounds like I'm lifting, doesn't it?
So yep, I didn't want to wait that extra month. I would have been born on this guy's birthday had I waited, but
Well, and so here's a toast.
I wanted my own damn birthday.
Here's a toast to Dr. Jatender Bhatt. I don't know if he's around these days. I know he's retired, but you know, he had plans that night. He told us he was going to go work on his plane and maybe go flying, and instead, this guy shows up.
Yeah,
So,
sorry,
but
Doc.
That's the price you pay when you become a medical doctor, right?
Especially when you're working in the maternity ward and you're an OBGYN and all that fun
Business
stuff.
was robust.
Yes, exactly. So, but yeah, guys, we have a blast here, obviously, and we're definitely going to make this a regular thing, hanging out with my dad, because you know it's dads plural smoking cigars, and there's dads everywhere. But definitely, my dad gets first slot every time.
Yep.
So, if there are any other of my good friends out there who, you know, my cigar smoking dad friends, and you want a spot on the show, let's talk, because I'd love to have some people on here and have some fun, make some variety. It's kind of been something I've been thinking about lately, and if you're interested, then be sure to shoot me a message on Instagram, and we'll set that up for sure.
Bit of a dad roundtable.
Exactly.
A traveling dad roadshow.
Exactly. So.
But you're welcome here. Maybe we could shoot from my spa in my backyard. I mean,
Yes.
We're willing to think of anything outside the box.
Definitely. This guy loves having company, and this is not me inviting you over to my dad's house, but I think he kind of kept a somewhat open door policy right there. So if you're local, you want to hang out, come and chill with us, and we'll have a good time. And
All while keeping safe space.
Exactly.
We got lots of hand sanitizer here, people. Trust me, my wife will hand it out to everybody as they walk in the door 6 feet apart.
Absolutely. She's good that way. Very good that way. So.
Gotta love her.
Absolutely. And I love you, and I'm glad that we got to hang out again.
Right?
And we're trying to do it as often as
Here's
possible.
to hanging out.
Here is
In
to
the
hang-
immortal words of Cheech Marin, one more time.
One more time. Orale.
By the way, we do dialects here all the time, and it's with love and respect.
Well, they know I'm getting into voice acting, so that should be no surprise. And I tell everybody I get it from you. So,
True story.
thank you.
You're welcome. Genius!
Yes, thank you. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us again. We hope you enjoyed the tour of my dad's pad and hanging out with us once again. And you can expect to see us again very, very soon. Until then, cheers, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Not to mention, thanks, Casa Cuevas.
Yes, absolutely.
Dame Mas.
Exactly.
And Citrus City Grill.
Absolutely. It was a blast, and can't wait to do it again.
Let's do it again.
All right. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow Dad Smoking Cigars on dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram, and be sure to check us out on Facebook. Until then, guys, stay smoky, and I'll see you in the next one.